Hey everyone, my name is Nat. Welcome to my shop. Today is September 1st and this is my weekly shop update. So this week in the shop I took a little break from the lathe and I focused more on getting some cutting boards finished. I have a whole stack of blanks here on my workbench that I need to make up into end grain cutting boards. And I have a couple here that I thought I'd show you. I made these ones this weekend. I'm making some bigger ones this time. So here's one of them. And let's see, I got another one here. A little bit different. You can see how much more random a pattern you can get, or you can achieve if you want a random pattern with this method. So like I said, I got a whole stack of blanks here. I think I have some more over there as well. So I've got a lot to go through still, but I got everything glued up. So my shop is looking kind of empty as far as scraps go, which is awesome. I love having more space and just being able to see things now without having wood everywhere. So that's a nice change. So now, like I said, I just got to finish gluing up all these blanks into end grain cutting boards, and then I can finish those off and I have a whole stack of cutting boards. So since I don't have a whole lot to update on the shop this week, I thought I'd do a little bit of a follow-up video on the coffee table build. I had a couple questions there that I thought I'd address in a little more detail here. So here we go. The first question I got, which I thought was worth mentioning in this video, was what is a spring joint? When I was doing the breadboards on the panels, I mentioned that I cut a spring joint into the breadboard before I clamped it up and drilled my holes for my pegs. So I thought I'd do a little example here of what a spring joint is. So really, it's pretty simple. On a spring joint, let's see if I can get a little closer here. So in this example, here's your breadboard, here's your panel. On a spring joint, you cut a slight concavity into your breadboard so that when the two pieces come together, there's a slight gap in the middle. You can kind of see me through there. So there's a little gap in here, but it's tight on the outsides, but it's open in the middle. So what that does for you is when you take your clamp and you clamp it down, let's see if I can get this clamp on here. When you clamp down the gap in the middle is totally gone, and it is super tight all the way along out to the edges. So the corners are super tight, and it gives you a really tight seamless joint. Now the other question I got was, why didn't I use my Domino to join the shelf breadboard to the legs? And that's a little bit longer answer, I guess. So to give a little bit of background information onto my reasoning, and to kind of give more reason onto why I use that twin tenon, let's look at an example of where you have a standard mortise and tenon. Let's say you have a leg and you have an apron, for instance, and it's going to come in like that. Well, when you're joining a piece in like this, your tenon is actually going to have long grain glue contact on both sides of the tenon, because as it comes into the leg, into the mortise, both sides of the mortise are long grain, and then the top and bottom is end grain for the mortise and long grain for the tenon. So just thinking about that concept, the way that, I don't know why I'm walking away, the way that my breadboard was, it was oriented this way. So if I were to insert a tenon like this into a leg like that, now you see that we have end grain on the leg and long grain on the tenon. So it's not as strong as a joint as if it was this way, where you have all that long grain glue surface. Now there is some long grain to long grain here, and that's going to be here and on the other side, but that's not a whole lot of space. That's a 1/4 inch. So that would give you a 1/2 inch total of long grain glue surface. Whereas up here, when we had it going in like this, this is like 1.5 inches, so that gives you 3 inches of long grain glue surface. So now if I wanted to use my Domino to do that, obviously I would orient them the same way as you saw me do with the twin tenons, is I would orient them with the tenons coming, whoop, if I can hold this, with the tenons coming out of the is that going to work? With the tenons, I would orient it with the tenons coming out of the breadboard, you know, like that, like I had the integral tenons oriented. That way I have a lot more glue surface. I have the glue surface on all 4 sides of this thing. The problem with using the Domino is if you flip it up like, let's use one here to show you, but if you look at the end of the board and how the Domino would come in, you know, that's, you know, there is not a lot of room between the top and the bottom of that domino. So this is an 8 millimeter, but even with the 6 and the 4 is probably a little too small, but that's not a lot of space in there. And with my luck, if I was plunging into this with a domino, I'd probably blow out the face of this with the bit, and that piece would be trash. So I guess it's more of a risk mitigation thing than anything, is why I didn't use it. Although it certainly would have worked. So last week after I shot this update, Lindsay and I had a great talk, and we decided that I should go to WIA. So I'm really excited to go to Woodworking in America. I'm really excited because there's a couple classes I'm really excited to take, and mostly because I haven't taken a class before, so I don't know what that's like. The other reason is one of the classes is really timely for the secretary desk project that I've been working on for the last, I don't know, the year or whatever. And that class is on the broken arch pediment. That's being taught by Glenn Huey, who actually wrote the book that I'm building the secretary off of. So when I'm done with the bottom section of the desk, I need to start working on the uppercase, all of this part. And the class itself is actually talking about this broken arch up here and how to make these gooseneck or swan neck moldings. So I'm really excited about that class because I'm going to have to be doing this in a few, well, hopefully sooner than later, a few weeks or a few months. So that's really awesome. And it's Glenn. I'm really excited to meet him because a lot of the work that I've done has been so much influenced by the books and the publications that he's put out. So I'm really excited to meet him. If anyone's going, please let me know. I really want to meet everybody. I don't know anybody that's going personally, so I'm sure I'm going to meet a lot of great people while I'm there. If anyone's coming in on Thursday, I'll be there Thursday night. I have nothing to do yet. I think my flight gets in at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, so if anyone's going to be around Thursday evening, let me know. I'd love to have something to do, I guess, besides just sitting in my hotel room all night waiting for Friday morning's classes. So last week I didn't give an update on the patio project, so let me take you out there so you can take a look and see what I've been up to on the patio. Alright, so the first thing we've been working on is the fireplace. Come up here, I've been working on my transition from, I guess, the firebox into the chimney. I have one more course to go here, cantilever it out, and that'll transition into that chimney and come straight up. When I get the next course on, this part here will stay flat like this, and then I'm going to try and curve this up into the chimney. So I'm going to fill this with concrete and kind of just make it curve up on both sides to ease that transition. But that's coming along pretty well. So for the rest of the patio update, the audio from my microphone was a little screwed up. So what I'm doing here, I'm just kind of pointing out that we got the first 2 courses of the step wall installed. And I'm pointing out that each of the steps will have to be cut to fit the curve of the wall. And I'm just pointing out that the wall will keep going through the driveway there. And then the last thing here I'm showing is that I finally got the drain pipe installed under the driveway. I cut a strip in the driveway, and I was able to bury that drain pipe under the driveway and connect it to my basin, which is just a storm drain. And I'm just pointing out that that one drain pipe carries all the water for the whole area, for all the drain tile, and for the 2 downspouts that are in the patio area. So thanks for watching as always, I greatly appreciate it. Thanks to all my new subscribers and everyone who's been so great leaving comments and being so engaging. I really appreciate that as well. So again, thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions or comments about anything I talked about today or anything here in my shop, please leave me a comment. I always appreciate those. And as always, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next week, happy woodworking.